Hey, this is Mr. Warden. Welcome to Laser Cannon Battle Commander aiming practice with slope. And you may be about to do this, and you may have wonderings about how to deal with this. And for whatever reason, you're not able to ask me. So I thought I'd make this short video to help you out. So here's the basic setup. Earth's been has defeated the first waves of Blargian attacks. Yay, you! But you know that this is just the beginning. So you must now practice aiming your laser cannons. I'm going to fire my laser in a slope battle simulation. So we're going to use the concept of slope. So you're going to encounter some new equations, but you don't need to check those out, but you're going to learn those equations later. The main thing we're going to do is we're going to calculate slopes between 2 points. So you'll need to calculate them for your firing solutions. So here's how you calculate slope. You take 2 points, and I'm going to demonstrate this with an example. You take 2 points, and you find out the change in the output and divide that by the change in the input. That means the output is the y and the input is the x. So how much does the y change divided by how much does the x change between 2 points? So first, identify the 2 points you're working with. Designate one of them to be your first point, a starting place for your subtraction. It does not matter which one, though perhaps one direction of subtraction will be easier than the other. So you can make your judgment call on that. So then we'll subtract the y values. So the starting point y value minus the other y value. And I'll actually draw an example. So let's say we had the points 5, 9. Okay, and then we have also 11, 22. Okay, and those are our 2 points. So we've identified the points. That's step 1, check. Then step 2, we're going to designate this one point. Actually, I'm going to designate this one 0.1, okay? And this will be 0.2. And there's a reason I chose that. I'm looking at my subtraction. If I do 9 minus 22, I'll get negative. I'd rather do 22 minus 9. Once I've chosen a direction, I'm going to stick with it. So all of my subtraction is going to go in that direction. So the third part, I'm going to subtract the y values. That's going to be this one, this is y, and this is y. So I'm going to say 22, the first y value from 0.1, minus 9. And the answer for a subtraction problem is a difference. So I'm going to get 22 minus 9, that's 13. Then, okay, so step 2 is done, and step 3 is done. Now, step 4, I'm going to subtract the x values. Now, I'm going in the exact same direction I went before. If I change directions, then I'm going to end up getting an opposite sign from what I want. I need things to be consistently flowing from one point to the other. 11 minus 5, if I'm doing a proper comparison. So 11 minus 5, let me undo that last bit I just did. Okay, that should be a subtraction sign. 11 minus 5, and that's going to equal 6. Okay, so now I have my two differences. Now the fifth thing that we're going to do, let's see what happens when I scroll down. Oh, good, they stay all together. Great. So now we're going to create a fraction involving the differences of my y and my x. So it's going to be, and I'm actually going to just do it like this. That is going to equal that. So this is going to be what we call my slope. This is a unit rate. 13/6 is a unit rate of change in my output over my input. Now, we would reduce this if we could, but there's no reducing we can do. You don't need to turn this into a mixed number, so no worries about mixed numbers. This could be turned into a decimal, but if you turn this into a decimal, it's going to be 2 and 1/3, 2.3 repeating, I should say. And if you had to round it, you'd call it 2.3. But if you do that, 2.3 is less than 2.3 repeating. So your slope is going to miss. All right, so I've done all of those. Let's actually go, I'm going to clear that screen, and I'm going to go to the next page, and where we have the actual battle. Up apparently I need to make some edits to this page so that you actually can do work on the graph. But what you're going to be doing, I'm going to pause this so I can do that edit and fix that. All right, now we're going to continue, and I'm back at the graph. Now we actually can see what we're doing. So your first task is to calculate the slope between 0, 23. That's one of your laser cannons. See there? There's a laser cannon right there. And you're going to target a Blargian ship at negative 713. There's the Blargian ship at negative 713. Now, I've already got an equation set up for you, but it misses. And so what we need to do is we need to calculate the slope for this ship, for the between these 2 points, I should say, between 0, 23 and negative 713. So I'm going to get here to this one, and I'm going to find the difference in the y values. So my two y values are 23 and 13. So I'm going to say 23 minus 13. I've decided that 23 is the beginning point of my calculation. So that's the difference in those. So I'm going to just turn that into a 10. Because 23 minus 13 is 10. And then I'm going to divide that by the difference in my x values. So 0 minus negative 7. Okay, and 0 minus negative 7 is 7. And so my slope ends up being 10 over 7. You'll notice it turned it into a decimal over here. Don't worry about that. Use the fraction. If you were to round this, I'll show you this. If you rounded this to 1.4, say, 0.4. Now I'm going to zoom in, and you're going to be just off center with your targeting. It does hit the ship, but you need to hit it right in the middle to get its reactor course. So we're going to turn that into 10 over 7. And if you wanted to make it fancy, you could, of course, do that. Since we're using the points negative 7, 13, and 0, 23, make the fancy brackets, that shift square bracket. We have two ends of an inequality. From negative 7 to 0 for x, so negative 7 and 0, I'm going to put less than or equal to. X is less than or equal to 0. And I have created an inequality that will allow me to target, to limit my shot like that. Okay, and then you'll move on to the next one. So task 2, you're going to try to target the ship that is at 411 from a laser cannon that is at 0, 12. So let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the one you're targeting. You're trying to get this one at 411 from 0, 12. And you're going to need to change this -1 into a slope equation like that. So you'll pick which one is going to be your first y value and subtract, and then you'll pick which one is your, and since you already chose a point, you'll go with the same point you started with and do subtraction for the x values. This one is going to be a negative slope, by the way. And may the odds be ever in your favor, as they say. Once you get through these initial tasks, there is a task 7 at the bottom. So to do task 7, you're going to pick any one of the ships, and any one of the equations, I should say. And it won't matter really which one, except that the equation has a particular point associated with it. So this one here has 2018 as a point associated with it. And you'll find the slope between 2018 and your target. So no shots from the Earth. The Earth is busy building shields. And so they can't afford the energy. So you got to do your shots from your ships in space. Your ships are the laser cannons. Okay, those are laser cannon platforms. You are targeting the flying saucers and, of course, the mother ships. But you got to hit the mother ships right in their 2 power centers, which are the eyes. Okay, so there they are. If you need to know what the points are, you click on the eyes and you'll find the points. Okay, I hope that was helpful.